Dementia is one of the most feared conditions of our time. It doesn't just affect memory. It steals independence, relationships, and quality of life. And while genetics may play a role, research shows that lifestyle is the biggest factor. That means what you do today has the power to protect your brain tomorrow. The good news, you don't need complicated treatments or expensive programs. Small, consistent changes can lower your risk dramatically. So today, I want to share 5 practical things you can start right now to reduce your dementia risk. These are science-based, easy to understand, and most importantly, they work. When it comes to protecting your brain, one of the most overlooked yet powerful strategies is controlling your blood sugar. Most people think of dementia as a condition of memory, but at its root, it is deeply connected to metabolism. In fact, many experts now refer to Alzheimer's disease as type 3 diabetes because of the strong relationship between insulin resistance and cognitive decline. This is not just a catchy phrase, it's a profound truth that can reshape how we approach brain health. Think about what happens every time you eat a high sugar meal or consume refined carbohydrates. Your blood sugar spikes rapidly, and your body responds by releasing insulin. Insulin's job is to move sugar out of the blood and into your cells. But here's the problem. When this process happens again and again, day after day, year after year, your cells stop responding to insulin. This is insulin resistance. And when your cells resist insulin, sugar lingers in the blood, causing damage throughout the body. The brain, which is highly sensitive to fluctuations in blood sugar, is one of the first organs to suffer. High blood sugar doesn't just create temporary brain fog, it leads to chronic inflammation, oxidative stress, and glycation. Glycation is the process where sugar molecules attach themselves to proteins and fats in your body, forming toxic compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs damage blood vessels and brain tissue, accelerating the aging process and destroying cognitive function. If you've ever wondered why people with uncontrolled diabetes face a dramatically higher risk of dementia, this is the explanation. But here's the hopeful side. Controlling your blood sugar isn't complicated. It's about making strategic, consistent changes in how you eat and when you eat. One of the most effective methods is lowering your intake of refined carbohydrates, things like white bread, pasta, pastries, soda, and even fruit juices. These foods convert rapidly into glucose, spiking your blood sugar. Instead, build your meals around whole foods that release energy slowly: leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, quality protein, and healthy fats. Not only do these foods keep your blood sugar stable, but they also provide your brain with essential nutrients for repair and function. There's another crucial step: shifting your brain's primary fuel source from glucose to ketones. The brain loves ketones. When you lower your carbohydrate intake and increase healthy fats, your body begins producing ketones, which provide a cleaner, more efficient source of energy for brain cells. Unlike glucose, ketones don't create damaging byproducts. They reduce oxidative stress, enhance mitochondrial function, and even stimulate the growth of new brain cells. Many people notice that when they enter a state of mild ketosis, their memory sharpens, their focus improves, and their energy levels stabilize throughout the day. Now, let's talk about timing. What you eat matters, but when you eat is equally powerful. Intermittent fasting is one of the most effective tools for improving insulin sensitivity and lowering dementia risk. Fasting gives your body a break from constantly processing food, allowing insulin levels to drop and cells to regain sensitivity. Even starting with a simple 12-14-hour overnight fast can produce noticeable benefits. As you progress, extending your fasting window to 16 hours or more can accelerate fat burning, reduce inflammation, and enhance brain clarity. For example, if you stop eating at 7 p.m. and wait until 11 a.m. the next day for your first meal, you've completed a 16-hour fast. During that time, your body shifts from burning sugar to burning fat, producing ketones that directly fuel and protect your brain. Over time, this not only lowers your dementia risk, but also makes you more resilient to other age-related diseases. You might be wondering, does this mean you can never enjoy carbs again? The answer is balance. Occasional strategic carb consumption, especially from whole, unprocessed sources like berries, root vegetables, or quinoa, can be incorporated into a healthy lifestyle. The danger comes from daily, chronic consumption of refined, processed carbs that constantly elevate blood sugar and insulin. Think of it this way: your brain is like a delicate instrument, and sugar is static that disrupts its ability to function. The less static you introduce, the clearer the signal. Another overlooked factor in blood sugar control is stress. Chronic stress raises cortisol, which in turn raises blood sugar, even if you're not eating. So while nutrition is foundational, lifestyle choices like deep breathing, meditation, and regular physical activity also play a vital role. Exercise, in particular, acts like a sponge that soaks up excess glucose from the bloodstream, immediately lowering insulin resistance and delivering oxygen-rich blood to the brain. Supplements can also support your journey. Nutrients like chromium, berberine, and alpha-lipoic acid are known to improve insulin sensitivity. Magnesium, often deficient in modern diets, helps regulate blood sugar and relax the nervous system. But supplements should never replace whole food. They should only enhance a foundation of healthy eating. Now here's the key takeaway. Controlling your blood sugar is not just about preventing diabetes. It's about protecting the most valuable organ you have, your brain. Every meal you eat, every fast you complete, every choice you make either moves you toward insulin sensitivity and clarity or toward resistance and decline. The choice is always in your hands. And here's the exciting part. Once you start implementing these changes, results come quickly. Within weeks, you may notice better energy, sharper focus, and improved memory. Over months and years, you are actively lowering your risk of dementia, ensuring that your later years are marked by independence, vitality, and strong mental function. So let this be your starting point. Control your blood sugar, and you've laid the foundation for everything else we'll discuss. Once your metabolism is balanced, your brain has the stability it needs to thrive. And with that foundation in place, the next step becomes clear, making sure your brain gets the rest and recovery it needs through deep, restorative sleep. Once blood sugar is under control, the next pillar of brain health is sleep. And I don't just mean the number of hours you spend in bed. I'm talking about the quality of your sleep, whether or not your brain is truly able to reset, repair, and detoxify each night. Because if blood sugar stability builds the foundation for brain function, then quality sleep is the cement that holds it all together. Without it, even the best diet and supplements will fall short. The truth is, your brain is not resting while you sleep. It's working harder than ever in ways you cannot feel. During deep sleep, your brain activates something called the glymphatic system, a powerful cleaning network that flushes out toxins, debris, and harmful proteins, including the beta amyloid plaques associated with Alzheimer's disease. If you consistently deprive your brain of this nightly cleansing, those toxins build up, slowly clogging the system and impairing memory, focus, and clarity. That's why people notice how even one night of poor sleep can make them foggy, forgetful, or irritable. Imagine what years of inadequate sleep do to your brain. It's like living in a house where the garbage is never taken out. Over time, the buildup doesn't just affect your mood, it rewires your brain toward decline. But here's the encouraging part. Improving your sleep is entirely within your control, and small changes can produce massive results. The first step is to understand what disrupts deep sleep in the first place. One major culprit is blue light exposure at night. Phones, computers, and televisions emit blue wavelengths that trick your brain into thinking it's still daytime. This suppresses melatonin, the hormone that tells your body it's time to rest. Without melatonin, you may fall asleep later, wake up more often, or miss out on restorative, deep sleep cycles. A practical fix: power down electronics at least an hour before bed or use blue light blocking glasses in the evening. Even dimming the lights in your home can signal to your brain that it's time to wind down. Another disruptor is temperature. Your body naturally cools down as it prepares for deep sleep, and a warm bedroom can interfere with this process. Research shows the ideal sleep temperature is around 65-67 degrees Fahrenheit. A cooler environment not only improves sleep onset, but also extends time spent in deep, restorative stages. Think of it as creating the perfect environment for your brain's nightly detox. Caffeine is another hidden thief of sleep quality. Many people underestimate how long caffeine lingers in the system. That late afternoon coffee or energy drink can still be active in your body 6, 7, 8 hours later, subtly keeping the nervous system alert even if you don't feel wired. If you struggle with sleep, cut off caffeine by noon and watch how your ability to rest improves. Nutrient deficiencies also play a role. Magnesium, for example, is known as the relaxation mineral. It calms the nervous system, lowers cortisol, and helps muscles relax. Vitamin B1, often depleted by high carbohydrate diets, supports the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode that allows you to drift into restorative sleep. And vitamin D, while famous for immune support, is equally important for regulating circadian rhythms. Without enough vitamin D, your internal clock can become disrupted, leading to restless nights. Here's the bigger picture. Sleep is not just downtime, it is an active healing process. During deep sleep, your brain consolidates memories, repairs neurons, and strengthens connections between brain cells. This is when learning sticks and experiences are processed. Without it, new information doesn't integrate, and over time, long-term memory suffers. Studies consistently show that people who get poor quality sleep have a significantly higher risk of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. So what can you do, practically speaking, to prioritize sleep quality? Start with a simple, consistent routine. Go to bed at the same time each night, even on weekends. Create a wind-down ritual, maybe light stretching, reading a physical book, or listening to calming music. Avoid stimulating activities like scrolling on your phone or watching intense shows right before bed. Your pre-sleep habits are signals to your body, and your brain pays attention to them. Another effective practice is intermittent fasting, which we already discussed for blood sugar control. When you stop eating several hours before bed, your body doesn't waste energy on digestion overnight. Instead, it directs more resources to the brain's repair systems. People often report deeper, more refreshing sleep once they stop late. Night snacking. And don't forget stress. Chronic stress keeps cortisol elevated, which disrupts melatonin and prevents deep sleep cycles. If stress is a major factor for you, try deep breathing, journaling, or even short meditation sessions before bed. Just 5-10 minutes can make a huge difference in lowering cortisol and preparing your body for rest. Now, here's what you should take away. Sleep is not optional. It is not a luxury. It is as essential as oxygen and water. Every night, you are either giving your brain a chance to clean, reset, and prepare for the future, or you are denying it that chance, allowing toxins and dysfunction to accumulate. And while the negative effects may not show up immediately, over time they manifest as memory lapses, mood instability, and increased dementia risk. The best part, once you start prioritizing sleep, you don't just protect your future brain, you feel the difference immediately. You wake up clearer, sharper, and more energized. Your productivity rises, and your ability to handle stress increases. Sleep is the ultimate free therapy, available to you every single night if you choose to honor it. So let this be your next step after stabilizing your blood sugar. Make sleep your top priority. Once your brain has the fuel it needs and the rest it requires, the third key becomes even more powerful: movement. Because the next way you reduce dementia risk is by giving your brain exactly what it craves: oxygen and blood flow through daily physical activity. Once your brain is fueled properly through stable blood sugar and restored each night through deep, high-quality sleep, the next step to lowering your dementia risk is movement. Exercise is not just about burning calories or building muscle. It is one of the most powerful tools you have to preserve brain health, extend memory, and protect cognitive function as you age. Think of your brain as a high-performance engine. It requires a constant supply of oxygen and nutrients delivered through healthy circulation. But here's the truth: your brain has no direct way to move blood on its own. It depends entirely on the pumping action of your heart and the movement of your body. When you live a sedentary lifestyle, blood flow slows, oxygen delivery declines, and neurons begin to starve. Over time, this lack of circulation leads to shrinkage in certain areas of the brain, particularly the hippocampus, the region responsible for learning and memory. Now imagine the opposite. When you exercise, your heart pumps faster, your blood vessels expand, and oxygen-rich blood surges into the brain. This not only nourishes existing neurons, but also stimulates the release of a protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. BDNF acts like fertilizer for the brain. It encourages the growth of new neurons, strengthens connections between existing ones, and protects brain cells from damage. In short, exercise literally builds a stronger, more resilient brain. Research shows that people who engage in regular physical activity can reduce their risk of dementia by up to 40%. That's not a small margin. That's nearly cutting your risk in half simply by moving your body consistently. And the best part, you don't need hours at the gym or complex equipment to see these benefits. Even simple, consistent activities like brisk walking, cycling, or light resistance training can have profound effects. It's important to understand that not all exercise is equal when it comes to brain health. Aerobic exercise, such as walking, swimming, or jogging, increases circulation and oxygen delivery, directly supporting brain function. Resistance training, lifting weights, or using resistance bands enhances muscle mass, which improves glucose regulation and reduces insulin resistance. Another key factor in brain health, high-intensity interval training, or HIIT, takes it even further by triggering powerful hormonal and metabolic responses that lower inflammation and elevate BDNF levels. But here's the key, it doesn't have to be complicated. If you're new to exercise, start small. Even a 10-minute walk after dinner can improve blood sugar control and promote better sleep, both of which protect the brain. Over time, aim for at least 20 to 30 minutes of moderate activity most days of the week. The consistency matters more than the intensity. Think of it as investing in your brain's oxygen bank. Every step deposits more health into your future. Movement also helps the brain in another critical way. It lowers stress. Remember, chronic stress keeps cortisol levels high, which disrupts sleep, raises blood sugar, and accelerates cognitive decline. Exercise acts like a release valve, lowering cortisol and boosting feel-good neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. That's why you often feel calmer, clearer, and more focused after a workout. It's not just your muscles that benefit. Your brain chemistry shifts toward balance and resilience. There's another dimension too, balance and coordination. Activities like yoga, tai chi, or even dancing challenge the brain in unique ways. They require focus, memory, and motor control all at once, stimulating multiple regions of the brain simultaneously. This kind of dual tasking is incredibly protective against decline because it forces your brain to stay adaptable and flexible. For those concerned about aging, here's something powerful. Exercise doesn't just slow brain shrinkage. It can actually reverse it. Studies show that consistent aerobic activity increases the size of the hippocampus, effectively restoring some of the memory capacity that naturally declines with age. This means it's never too late to start. Even if you've been inactive for years, your brain still responds positively to movement. Now, some people may worry about time or energy, but movement doesn't have to mean formal exercise sessions. Gardening, climbing stairs, cleaning the house, or even standing up and stretching regularly throughout the day all count. The real danger is long periods of sitting. Prolonged sitting lowers circulation, slows metabolism, and accelerates brain decline. A good rule of thumb, move every 30 to 60 minutes, even if it's just a few minutes of stretching or walking. Supplements and nutrition can enhance the benefits of exercise. For example, omega-3 fatty acids combined with physical activity show a synergistic effect on BDNF production. Proper hydration ensures efficient circulation. And adequate electrolytes, especially potassium and magnesium, help your muscles function smoothly during movement, reducing fatigue and enhancing performance. But above all, the most important factor is enjoyment. If you hate the activity you choose, you won't stick with it. Find something you look forward to. A walk with a friend, a dance class, swimming, cycling, or even bodyweight exercises at home. The consistency of joyful movement compounds over time, building a stronger, healthier brain year after year. So here's the bottom line. Movement is medicine for your brain. Every step, every stretch, every heartbeat sends oxygen, nutrients, and growth signals that keep your neurons alive and thriving. The more you move, the more you protect yourself against dementia, depression, and decline. And when you combine stable blood sugar, restorative sleep, and consistent movement, you've created a powerful trifecta for brain protection. But there's one more piece we cannot ignore: the nutrients your brain depends on. Because movement builds the framework, but nutrition provides the raw materials. And that's where we move into the fourth key: nourishing your brain with the right fuel. We've talked about stabilizing blood sugar, restoring sleep, and moving your body daily. These create the foundation for brain health. But there's one more essential piece: what you feed your brain. Because while exercise and sleep set the stage, nutrients are the raw materials your brain needs to function, repair, and grow. Without them, the system cannot operate at full capacity. It's like trying to build a house without bricks or mortar. No matter how strong the blueprint, the structure will eventually collapse. Your brain is a nutrient-hungry organ. Although it makes up only about 2% of your body weight, it consumes nearly 20% of your energy. Every thought, every memory, every emotion requires an incredible amount of resources. And if those resources are missing, your brain will begin to struggle long before you notice it. One of the most important nutrients for brain health is DHA, a type of omega-3 fatty acid. DHA is a structural component of brain cell membranes. In fact, about 30% of the brain's gray matter is made up of DHA. Think of it as the insulation on electrical wires. Without enough DHA, communication between neurons slows down, signals become distorted, and memory begins to falter. Studies show that people with higher DHA intake have sharper cognitive function and lower risk of dementia. The best sources are wild, caught fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel, or a high-quality fish oil supplement. Another critical nutrient is vitamin D. Most people associate vitamin D with bone health, but it plays a powerful role in the brain. Vitamin D receptors are found throughout the brain, where they regulate mood, memory, and the production of neurotransmitters. Low vitamin D levels have been strongly linked to cognitive decline and an increased risk of Alzheimer's. The challenge is that many people today are deficient due to limited sun exposure and indoor lifestyles. Supplementing with vitamin D3, ideally paired with K2 for absorption, is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to protect your brain. Equally vital are the B vitamins, especially B12, B6, and folate. These vitamins are essential for methylation, a process that protects DNA, repairs neurons, and reduces homocysteine, a compound strongly associated with dementia when elevated. B12 in particular maintains the myelin sheath, the protective covering around your nerves. Without adequate B12, nerves begin to misfire, leading to memory lapses, confusion, and mood imbalances. Unfortunately, B12 deficiency is common, especially in older adults and those on plant-based diets. Animal proteins, eggs, and a methylated B complex supplement can help restore these critical levels. Let's not forget antioxidants. Every day, your brain is exposed to oxidative stress from metabolism, toxins, and environmental factors. Over time, this stress damages neurons and accelerates aging. Antioxidants are your defense system. Vitamin C, vitamin E, and compounds like polyphenols from blueberries, green tea, and turmeric act as shields, neutralizing free radicals before they can cause harm. In fact, studies on populations with high intake of antioxidant-rich foods show significantly lower rates of cognitive decline. Minerals also play an irreplaceable role. Magnesium calms the nervous system, lowers stress hormones, and supports over 300 enzymatic processes, many of which directly influence brain health. Zinc aids in neurotransmitter production and protects against inflammation, and selenium, though needed in small amounts, is essential for preventing oxidative damage inside the brain. These nutrients don't just add extra support, they are mandatory building blocks for optimal brain function. Here's something fascinating. Nutrients don't work in isolation. They function synergistically, meaning they interact with and enhance each other. For example, DHA integrates into brain cell membranes more effectively in the presence of antioxidants. Vitamin D regulates calcium, but it works best when balanced with magnesium and vitamin K2. This is why whole foods are so powerful. They provide nutrients in their natural balance, the way your brain was designed to receive them. So what does this look like in practical terms? Build your meals around nutrient-dense foods: wild, caught fish, pasture-raised, grass-fed meats, leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, nuts, seeds, and low-glycemic fruits like berries. Use herbs and spices like turmeric, rosemary, and cinnamon, which are packed with brain-protecting compounds. Avoid processed foods stripped of nutrients. They rob the brain instead of feeding it. Supplements can be a valuable tool, but they should never replace real food. Think of them as reinforcements, not the main army. A high-quality fish oil, vitamin D3 with K2, a methylated B complex, and a broad-spectrum antioxidant supplement can cover common gaps, but always build the foundation with food first. Now, why does all of this matter for dementia prevention? Because cognitive decline is not a sudden event. It is the accumulation of years, even decades, of deficiencies, inflammation, and damage. Every nutrient-dense meal you eat adds resilience to your brain. Every supplement that fills a deficiency strengthens your nervous system. Over time, these small daily choices compound into powerful protection. And here's the encouraging part: your brain responds quickly when given the right fuel. Within weeks of improving nutrition, many people notice sharper memory, better focus, and improved mood. Over months and years, you are actively rebuilding and fortifying your brain against decline. So let this be your final step. Nourish your brain. Give it the raw materials it needs to thrive. Because once you control blood sugar, restore sleep, move your body, and feed your brain properly, you have built a fortress around your most valuable organ. And that brings us to the conclusion of this framework. Tying all four keys together into one clear truth: dementia is not an inevitable part of aging. With the right lifestyle, you can protect your memory, extend your clarity, and live with vitality for decades to come. Protecting your brain doesn't have to be overwhelming. Start with small, consistent habits. Control your blood sugar. Prioritize your sleep. Move your body every day, and nourish your brain with the right nutrients. Remember, dementia is not an inevitable part of aging. Your daily choices matter. By taking action now, you can keep your brain sharp, your memory strong, and your independence intact well into the future. So don't wait. Start today. Your brain will thank you tomorrow.